on the finale episode of Love is Blind season 3. Listen, her family's reaction was just so damn passionate. And I can absolutely understand why they felt so strongly about Bartise. But at the end of the day, I actually felt as though they should be thanking this man for being the one person in this toxic ass relationship with enough sense to put an end to it. Because unfortunately, their girl Nancy is a glutton for punishment, and she wanted to sign up for a lifetime of Bartise telling her straight up to her face that she's not beautiful. She's not as beautiful as this girl, the other girl. She's not tall enough for him. She's not blonde. She's not enough. I don't understand why she said yes at the altar to this guy. Like, I get it if you've been in a relationship and the man has been beating you down for so long, but this was a relationship of 7 weeks, you guys. It was 7 weeks. It was less than 2 months to a complete stranger. Okay. I still, this is why I have that video that I released the other day called Nancy is the Mark of Love is Blind season 3, because I don't believe that she is this genuinely clueless. I actually believe that she decided to really full blown play the victim role this season, the same way that Mark decided to do so in season 1 in his relationship with Jessica. I implore you to go ahead and watch that video if you haven't already. But just as a reminder, Mark was playing us the whole time. He had other people on deck on the side that he was cheating on Jessica with. He and Jessica both agreed that at the altar they were going to say no. And then he switched up on her and said yes, just so that he could really play into his victim act. Again, I don't think that Nancy had other men on the side or anything like that, but I do believe that she was absolutely committed to playing the poor, helpless victim in her relationship with Bartise. And Bartise finally had enough of their just awful relationship and decided to say no at the altar when she said yes. I get it. Again, I really understand Nancy's family's reaction, especially her little brother who loves her so much and is so protective of her. But it was honestly and truly for the best that Bartise said no to her. That's my personal opinion. It truly was. Her mom was so sweet and adorable, and she tried to go over there and comfort Nancy. But I was shocked by the way that not only did Nancy speak to her mom, just telling her to go away, but also the way she allowed Bartise to speak to her mom and her brother, telling them to go away as well, telling them that he owes them nothing at the end of the day. It was just so disrespectful. And I was like, oh my God, Nancy. And not only that, but after Bartise rejected her at the altar, what did Nancy do? She was holding his hand like a lost puppy as he led her away to talk about why he said no to her. I'm like, oh my God, Nancy, please have some pride at a certain point. I really did not understand. Mind you, I still do have the impression that Nancy was pining for Bartise at the reunion. Did you notice she added a lot of blonde to her hair? She knows that Bartise loves himself a blonde. And I just don't know. I still feel like there's something there for her. Would she ever get back together with him? No, but I do believe that she was totally helplessly in love with this man who she knew was no good for her. And yeah, it just sucks. It really does suck. At the end of the day, Nancy, you don't have time to be wasting on Bartise, okay? You are a grown woman. You are in your 30s. You want to have a big family with 10 kids. You're successful. You're going to be fine. You're kind. You're funny. You're beautiful. You're all the things, and you are going to find somebody who is going to love and cherish you the way that you deserve to be loved and cherished. And unfortunately, it just was not going to be Bartise. It was never going to be Bartise at the end of the day. Again, going back to her family's reaction, on the one hand, I understand them being just so upset on behalf of Nancy, feeling like she was humiliated and everything like that. But we all know how the show works. Once you agree to get engaged, it's like impossible to get out of it. You have to say yes or no at the altar, at decision day. And that is exactly what Bartise did. At the end of the day, Nancy could have had her moment. She really could have had her deep tea moment. She could have had her Zeinab moment, although Zeinab was a little bit cruel And we are going to get into Zeneb's cruelty in another video later today. But Nancy could have had all of this and really finally stood up for herself in the midst of this man who barely knows her, constantly telling her that she is not attractive, that she's not tall, that she's not blonde, she's nothing that he wants physically. She could have had that moment to say, listen, I have self-esteem. I am confident. I love myself. And that is why I'm saying no to you. And she decided to forego that and be humiliated by Bartise yet again. And so I think at the end of the day, her family needs to have an honest conversation and say, Nancy, listen, what's going on? Why don't you love yourself? Like, what is there not to love about yourself? You're so beautiful. You're so successful. You're so funny. You're everything. You're the whole package. You're so caring. You're so loving. You're so generous. Why don't you love yourself? Why did you put up with this from this man and his top button? Why did you put up with this? And it's a man that you don't even know. You were with him for 7 weeks. What is that? Oh Lord, my math. What is that? Like, it's less than 60 days. You were with this man for less than 60 days. How can we, as your family, support you so that you get some self-esteem and this does not happen to you again? Right? Like, at the end of the day, I think that Bartise did what was best for both of them. Nancy had the opportunity to do what was best for herself, which is to kick him to the curb. And she chose not to. She chose to potentially suffer with this man in an abusive, emotionally abusive marriage. And I don't understand that. I think that that's something that should be concerning her family a lot more than Bartise saying no to her at the altar. Because at the end of the day, Bartise only participated in Love is Blind the way that Love is Blind works, which is that you say no if you don't want to marry someone at the altar. He does not make the rules here, you guys. He just abided by them. Could Bartise have been kinder to Nancy? Absolutely. But could Nancy have also been kinder to herself, had a backbone? Absolutely as well. I think that they are both at fault here when it comes to their toxic relationship. Again, Bartise showed Nancy who he was from their first night together. He tells her, their second night together. He tells her that there's a girl here at the villa who's so beautiful, so gorgeous, way more gorgeous than you, Nancy, right? She's tall. She's got blonde hair. She's into fitness. She knew what she was doing with that dress that she wore to meet everybody. And it worked on me. He said all of that to her face when she still just barely knew him. It was her second night with him. And she just sat there like, I'm sorry, but a little bit like a clown, and just accepted it and did not fight back and say, wow, like, why are you saying, like, this is so inappropriate? You know, like, he had been an upfront douche from the very beginning, right? So her family, I think they need to take a look at their girl and ask her all of these questions about why she accepted this and what they can do to support her so that she does not accept these sorts of things moving forward, so that she understands that these things are unacceptable in a relationship. She does not deserve to be treated this way, right? I think at the end of the day, that is what's more important than accosting Bartise at the wedding for simply saying no to a relationship that is unfulfilling. I'm not judging them for their reaction. I'm not saying that, it was horrible. Like, it was a heated moment. It was a long day, I imagine. And they just felt like, they were authentic in their feelings, I will say. But, and I understand that. Absolutely. I feel like I would have been pissed too. But at the end of the day, if this was my sister and I was watching this back and seeing all the BS she was accepting, I'd be asking her some questions too about what we can do as a family to help her with her self-esteem, because obviously if she's going to put up with this type of stuff, it's in the gutter and it's unhealthy and it's dangerous and it makes her into a target for more Bartises in the future. Not only just that, but the fact that Nancy volunteered her income on TV, talking about she makes over $200,000 a year. We saw her real estate portfolio. She owns 5 homes, cash. And she also sat up there and said that she was willing to give away 50% of her wealth off the bat to a man. So she really, truly did make herself into a huge target. And again, her family, bro, I know you love your sis as you should, but you need to talk to her about all of this. You guys need to talk to Nancy because her self-esteem is going to get her, well, her lack of, is going to get her into an awful lot of trouble if you guys do not get a handle on it. At the end of the day, love him or hate him. I hate him. You guys know that. I have a video called Bartise is Toxic. So I am absolutely not standing up for him. But at the end of the day, Bartise made the right decision for the both of them. Nancy made a horrible decision, mainly for herself, right? Bartise would have been lucky to be with a woman like Nancy, like character-wise, even if he's not physically attracted to her. But for herself, Nancy, why would you say yes to a man who has told you every single day for the short month and a half that you've known him that you are not physically attractive to him? That if you were physically attractive, he would be able to put up with some of the little fights that you guys have in your relationship. Why would you say yes to that? I can't think of a reason in a relationship this short, other than the typical thing that sometimes happens in Love is Blind. You get people who decide to really play into the victim narrative. You really do get those sorts of people. And I do wonder if that is who she is as well. Like, was she really playing this naive lost puppy thing? Or was she really this down in the dumps on herself? I don't know. I'm going to have to defer to you guys in the comment section. But my last comment here is going to be, Nancy, you are everything. You are the complete package. You just need to see it in yourself so that you do not put up with the Bartises of the future who are going to be coming out of the woodworks trying to get with you, after seeing how wonderful of a person you are, how kind of a person you are, how soft of a person and loving of a person you are, and try to take advantage of that, especially after you volunteer the info that you make bank, you make a lot of money, and you are very quick to be parted with 50% of your money. Be careful, girl. Be careful. I know your family loves you, and I really hope that they kind of, circle around you to help you get that self-esteem together, because you deserve to have self-esteem on high. Everybody does, right? At the end of the day. Anyway, you guys, let me know what you think. Like, were you kind of like, do you think her family had the right reaction? Like, I get them being defensive, but at the end of the day, it was for the best. Bartise should have said no. Bartise saying yes would have been awful. She would have wound up like Colleen, looking like a battered wife at the reunion. By the way, I'm going to be doing another video on that as well. Subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to, so that you will catch those videos. I'm going to do a video about Zainab turning out to be a little cold and calculated, and Colleen looking like a full-blown battered wife at the reunion, and how everybody on the internet is really worried for her. In the meantime, let me know what you think about Nancy, her family, and everything that went down at her wedding in the comment section down below, and we'll chat. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.